we've got to turn some corners, though, brother. Which is to say, we got to bear witness. You know, we have to be more vigilant in our willingness to love one another, to be of service to each other,
Absolutely.
and to be surrendering to a will and a God that's greater than us.
Absolutely. During the pandemic, I speaking to the Black church experience, and although my church is multicultural, multi-generational, it's multi-everything. And it's
The
in the
Rock Church.
Yes, and it's in the middle of a tough neighborhood, right?
Yes.
When COVID happened, you know, and the public schools sent their students home for virtual learning, I started getting phone calls from parents left and right. I mean, 40 to 50 calls a day asking, can their child come to our church? And I'm like, no, there's nothing that we can do about this. But everything changed when I had a member of my church, single woman with a 7-year-old son. She lost her job because of COVID. She was our after-school counselor. So I said, okay, I have children from the community whose parents are, you know, they need help and services. I have this lady who I gotta help because she's a member of the church, and what is she supposed to do? So I hired her to oversee the academic day of about 5 or 6 students. And that's what she did. They were receiving the instruction and the curriculum from the cyber experience, and they were at the church all day, and I found a way to pay for that, right?
That's beautiful.
And from that, we formed the Rock City Learning Center, and that's really the impetus for Black Pastors United for Education, where we establish learning centers in churches. I think that the Church of Jesus Christ is the hope of the world. Now, as it relates to getting into the spaces of education and being able to educate, to start, scale, sustain educational opportunities that are non-traditional, that's what caused me to gravitate towards school choice and school choice laws, and the ability to leverage taxpayer dollars, our taxpayer dollars, in order to pay for private school education. And I see the church being the forefront of that. Imagine in America that every church in America could be a part of fixing those statistics, but also, like you're talking about, the morality, the ethics, the composition, the true composition of a person. But it's such a political issue. Could you lean in a little bit on school choice versus public school education? I don't think they should be versus, but in many ways they are.
It's both and rather than either or.
And is America capable of doing both and? Can we have properly funded public schools and school choice?
Well, I just think we had to be open to these things. We had to be jazz-like and improvisational. We had to be flexible and fluid and say, what's best for the precious children? If we had a public school system that was stellar and was open enough to have pockets where people were able to express themselves religiously and communally and culturally and so forth, then it would be very different. But we have a relative failure on so many different fronts when we talk about the plight of children in this country. And so we have a state of emergency. You take somebody like Hakeem Ahabute, who's been running an Afrocentric school in Chicago for the last 40 years, Center for Positive Education, editor of Third World Press, which is the oldest black press in America, right? He's been opting for school choice because it was clear that the public schools in his section of Chicago wasn't working. And so we just have to be improvisational. I mean, I love the way you talked with such wisdom with Brother J.D. Vance the other day, who's now Vice President-elect, saying that, you know what, that we have this wonderful dialogue of integrity, and I don't see why we can't have a robust, high-quality public school system and at the same time have these various schools, religious schools, Catholic brothers and sisters, our Jewish brothers and sisters, and others have had these kinds of schools, but we have to be committed to the children. And when you're committed to the children, you do anything.